Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What's a habit that seems harmless but slowly ruins lives? Comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Lack of sleep. Oof, absolutely. The only job I could get for a while was a 12-hour overnight shift. I had such a hard time getting good sleep and I was wrecked. My health actually deteriorated and I looked just awful. People thought I had cancer or something. Chronic avoidance, whether it's procrastination, numbing with screens, or dodging hard conversations. My New Year's resolution was actually to stop procrastinating. I'm gonna try and start next week sometime. Alcohol, socially acceptable, can buy it anywhere. Destroys lives, that's the truth. Even putting aside all the mayhem, destruction and broken families it causes, heavy drinkers usually start dropping like flies in their 50s and 60s. And the obituaries never say alcohol is the cause. Their organs just give out. Alcohol, sleep deprivation, avoiding physical exercises, avoiding medical consultations, staying in negative environments. Staying in negative environments, oh my god, do I ever do this with work? Even if the work environment is toxic and I hate getting up every day and going in, I'll stick around for years while my mental health declines until I bottom out and leave. Do not recommend. Social media, like Reddit. Reddit is the only social media I use anymore and it still leaves me feeling drained and depressed if I'm on it for more than 15 minutes. It's Reddit and X for me. They can be addictive. Sadly, both bring out the worst aspect of some people's personality. Interestingly, I think it is Reddit's use of the vote, up or down equals karma, that gives people more power to shout down those they don't like. X doesn't have a downvote feature, but you can comment on any post. You can like it. Both platforms reveal how so many have not mastered self-government. Short videos, I can feel like they drain my dopamine until I'm empty and don't find joy in anything for days. Finally someone says it, every time I re-download TikTok I can't sleep at night, I can't get anything done, and I don't feel as fulfilled. It definitely makes people more depressed and so many people take part in doomscrolling, it's sad. I feel like these are so bad for your brain. I really want to stop watching them or reduce as much as possible. Do it. I stopped watching them about 5 months ago and I feel much better. I realized I never derived any actual joy out of the content and was just constantly mad or worried about something that I didn't need to be. Using iChat apps. Former buddy of mine used to at very least appear sane. This was over 20 years ago, and that buddy was always one to be concerned for Nazi punks at shows. We went to a lot of punk and metal shows, always wanted to make sure people in the crowd weren't being fucked with, seemed to care about folks, anti-war, anti-all sorts of right-wing idiocy. The ensuing years were a slow unraveling of all of that until COVID blew it all wide open and they just outwardly became a right-wing crank. We're talking someone who went from Nazi punks fuck off, to talking about cultural Marxists, and putting over Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, to anti-vax shit, to now being an AI lover. They messaged me recently. I was trying to be civil and just sort of let it pass and then go back to silence, but that day, they were like, you gotta read this, and sent me this like 15-page screed. They were very open that it was written by ChatGPT, though I would have guessed it quite quickly, as it is not in their voice at all. Read like pseudo-intellectual babble, even had sources. Are they made up? Who knows, I'm not checking, and an abstract. I tell myself to ignore it, but end up reading the abstract and then I feel compelled to read the whole thing to understand the depths of this bullshit. Now, you might be asking, what was the ChatGPT thing about? And this is where it gets to what you're posting about. It was like a 15 to 20 page diatribe that seemed to be written for the purposes of strengthening their pre-existing views. As if they thought, I need ChatGPT to tell me in smart words why I'm right and everyone is wrong. The subject basically being, empathy is bad, Charlie Kirk, anyone. Because it helps people that are not in your in-group, and actually selective empathy only for your own in-group is the ethical thing to do, because bad things happening to those not in your in-group is totally great, and you want to be happy, those who don't look like you to be unhappy, and to do great things, right? Ex-buddy was using ChatGPT as their own personal echo chamber and trying to get it to finesse their message to make it sound smarter to idiots. The existence of ChatGPT has facilitated them becoming more extreme in their awful beliefs. That is absolutely diabolical to think about. There are already studies showing that people who rely on AI chats are becoming less self-sufficient in the real world. Essentially, AI has been proven to make people dumber over time. I cannot agree more. I heard of a case where this teenager offed himself because a boy told him to do it. Paying minimums on credit card bills. Not communicating feelings when you need to. Not listening when someone communicates their feelings. Stress. Porn. Excommunicating people you disagree with. All you're doing is creating your own echo chamber and sending others into theirs. Hearts and minds won't change if we stop having hard conversations. But some people are just filthy cunts. Having fake friends. Gossiping. Workaholics. Short drives whilst drunk. Overeating. Daydreaming. Why? I wrote a whole essay about it lol. Here's why it's so dangerous, down finger. The reward before achievement. Daydreaming, dopamine, and low productivity. Many people escape into daydreaming when they are stuck in uncomfortable situations, disconnecting from reality by retreating into their imagination. While this may offer temporary relief, it carries serious risks. When imagination begins to dominate reality, the brain receives dopamine rewards without real effort. The person mentally lives as a successful and ideal version of themselves, gaining pleasure in advance. Upon returning to real life, the gap between fantasy and reality becomes overwhelming, leading to frustration, exhaustion, and loss of motivation. The mind works best on a simple rule: achievement comes before reward. Daydreaming reverses this order, turning fantasy into an illusory reward. Over time, it becomes a form of escaping reality, similar to addiction, reinforced by idealized media that feeds the imagination while draining real energy. Comparing yourself to others. Social media. The need to always give a personal opinion like people's opinions hold value. It was all to God when someone gets healed from something that multiple medical and scientific breakthroughs fixed. Gaming addiction. People have died from it. Constantly scrolling social media. Staying in a situation where you're completely dependent on someone else. You tell yourself it's fine, that you're building something together, but really you're slowly losing all your power to leave. By the time you realize it, you're trapped. Not thinking for yourself. Posted an hour ago and already deleted the account. Looks like this one got inspired by the comment they wrote and got a life. Watching too much TV. Gossip. The wide legalization of sports gambling. IHSVE. No doubt in the next few years we'll start hearing stories of people getting addicted and losing everything. It's almost like our forefathers understood the dangers of gambling. Oh well, greed won as always. If only someone could have seen this coming. Not wearing your seatbelt. Thoughts gambling for most guys. Voting automatically for a single political party regardless of the candidate. Staying up late for no reason. Not doing anything important, just scrolling or watching videos because going to sleep feels like giving up free time. Then you're exhausted all day and the cycle repeats. Playing the lottery every day. Giving up your soul to appease the social system. Betraying people and yourself out of fear and threat of shame. Buying junky snacks every day. Source: I buy junky snacks every day. Using AI to look up stuff. AI programs are made by people, can be changed and controlled by people. Do your own research, do your own fact-checking, come to your own conclusions with the information you have. Even lies can be turned into the truth if enough people believe it to be true. And vice versa, the truth can be distorted and diluted until the general public no longer believe in it. Doom scrolling. Invading sovereign countries. Addiction of drugs. Is addiction to drugs seen as harmless by anyone? Question mark. Laziness, procrastination. Porn. I think scrolling and normalizing being human. I mean, humans hurt themselves most in the name of being a human. Had a tough day at work. Let's eat junk. I am just a human. Your spouse fought with you. Let's do something terrible. I am just a human. We should strive to do what we can instead of being what we are, and doing this makes us so much more. Thinks and rationalizing about things in terms of and in relevance to your age. Negative self-thoughts, especially if it comes to socializing. Why would they hang out with someone like me? As an example, if one keeps thinking so negatively about themselves, it will affect everything in their life: work, love, friendships, or even just, do I deserve to buy myself something nice to eat today? One of the worst and hardest to let go of habits. For me, it was an eating disorder that started at age 17. Pensive face seemed like a harmless coping mechanism that would get me through that last bit of adolescence, then I'd grow out of it. But here I am at age 33 still battling the curse. Pleading face. DoorDash. The chances what you're doing at home is so important you need to overpay for some cold fast or to fill a short grocery list more than once a week is pretty low. Get out of your bunker and intact with the world a little bit. We're social creatures whether we want to be or not. Driving everywhere. Verbal bullying. Reading stupid news. How many people have died or suffered severe injuries while taking that perfect selfie? I know a young teenager that shattered her ankles when she attempted a selfie from a balcony and fell. Wealth hoarding. The government. Masturbation. Hoping your partner can read your mind and being too passive to get what you want from relationship, and then when you do it's packaged in guilt and you find yourself alone and you were leaning on your crutches the whole time and you never knew what happened and feel more broken than ever. Stressing over things you can't change. Overthinking. If only my brain could take a fucking break. Alcohol. Blind faith, illogical religion, alcoholic beverages, gambling, pornography, constantly punishing people, giving them the business, teaching them a lesson, attacking with questions, starting fights, those petty neighborhood feuds. Constantly making loud noises. Adult movies. Sitting down too much. Reading through these comments and realizing you do many of them. Screen use. Scrolling through apps for hours on end. Cannabis. Watching Fox News. Avoiding conflict. Littering and social media. Laziness. I've experienced this when I was in a rut and everyone constantly said to me how much more potential I had than what I was doing with my life. Reddit doom scrolling. Normalizing stress and lack of sleep. Daydreaming.